last week, temperatures start to rise. Your NBC Palm Springs starts now.
Now, this is NBC Palm Springs.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Olivia Sandusky.
And I'm Mark Mester. Tonight, a decade-long investigation has finally reached its end. Developer Richard Meany was sentenced at the Hall of Justice in Riverside today. That's our top story tonight. And Meany was part of that case involving ex-Palm Springs Mayor Steve Pugnier accepting bribes in exchange for public support for development projects in the downtown area. Our Brett Rosen was at the courthouse today, and he spoke with Meany's attorney after the sentencing.
Outside the Hall of Justice here in downtown Riverside, developer Richard Meany was sentenced to 1 year probation, putting an end to a case that's lasted over a decade long.
Mr. Meany, you're going to be sentenced as follows. Based on your plea agreement from 2023, you're going to be placed on 1 year summary probation.
Today at the Hall of Justice in downtown Riverside, the 3 words 1 year probation were said. Not just the sentencing, but the 3 words would finally close the doors on a decade-long investigation. Prosecutors say it was Richard Meany who was the middleman between the other developer John Westman and ex-mayor Steve Pugnier, a bribery case that would involve all 3 men and developments being brought to downtown Palm Springs. Meany had pled guilty to a misdemeanor charge of financial conflict in a government contract back in 2023. Meany's lawyer Peter Scalisi says after today, Meany just wants to move forward.
For Richard, I think it's just a tremendous relief. He's been living with this for years, and it's caused him great anguish and pain with regard to his business. He's lost a tremendous amount of business, but now that this is behind him, he's feeling much better. He just wants to get on with his life.
Scalisi says Meany will have to continue to live with the mistakes he's made, highlighting his involvement stemmed from wanting more opportunities with John Westman.
I think there's a sense of tremendous regret that he somehow fell into this whole situation with John Westman and Stephen Pugnier. Richard Meany essentially thought that if he did some projects with Mr. Westman, then Richard Meany, it would inure to his benefit.
Now, after more than 10 years in an FBI raid at Palm Springs City Hall, neither of the 3 men faced jail time. Steve Pugnier, after pleading guilty in May, was sentenced to 2 years probation and a restitution fine to the city of Palm Springs. John Westman was acquitted on all charges, and after today, Richard Meany will only get 1 year probation. After reaching out to the district attorney's office for a statement, they talked about how hard these bribery cases can be, saying, quote, bribery cases like this one can be difficult cases, but the Riverside County District Attorney's Office values the importance of the public trust. The community needs to know that this district attorney and our public integrity unit will always advocate on their behalf. Here at the Hall of Justice in downtown Riverside, I'm Brett Rosen, NBC Palm Springs.
We have a local alert this evening. The Coachella Valley Rescue Mission is looking for backpack donations for their upcoming event on August 14th. The nonprofit is hoping to distribute more than 2,500 backpacks to children in need, and they're asking for your support tonight. There are many locations to drop off these backpacks across the Coachella Valley. Some of them include Chase Bank, Palm Desert Presbyterian Church, Coachella Valley Volkswagen, Agua Caliente, and Staples, just to name a few. With 31% of Coachella Valley children at or below the poverty level, CVRM wants every student to be able to achieve academic success. If you'd like to help or you want to learn more about the locations participating, head to our website, NBCPalmSprings.com.
The Desert Healthcare District holding a mobile vaccine clinic today. It's for students in Palm Springs Unified. Is to help families who could not get vaccines or physicals leading up to the start of the new school year, which starts in mid-August.
So we're working with the Palm Springs Unified School District to enhance collaborations and to really get the children on board. So we're working with them to get them ready for school, which includes their school annual physicals as well as their immunizations.
DPMG Health, along with Desert Healthcare District, will work with all 3 school districts in the Coachella Valley to set up those mobile clinics for each one.
Mark your calendars. Desert Cancer Foundation's signature event, Paint El Paseo Pink, is back. This is a beloved community walk. It brings together cancer survivors, fighters, families, and supporters in a powerful show of unity, raising some critical funds to provide financial assistance for cancer care to local residents here in the Coachella Valley. You can sign up as an individual walker or create a team walk. We always love to do that here at NBC Palm Springs. We've been part of this event for many years now. And don't forget, it's Saturday, October 11th. Registration is now open, so we would love to see you out there.
We have an update tonight on the Shady Fire that burned over 52 acres in Coachella. It's now 100% contained. It started around 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Friday. It caused a series of evacuation orders and warnings, which have all been lifted.
The residents are back in their homes. The evacuations have all been lifted. And Riverside County Sheriff's Department were able to get them back to their homes. There was 2 houses that were damaged. I'm not sure how many cars. There were several. Probably 10 or 15. Several of the fences and stuff that affected the residences, and then several properties were affected.
There are no injuries to report. The cause remains under investigation.
At the Annenberg Foundation, we look for vision. We try to find and fund the true innovators, the true rule breakers, those who look at the same old problems and see new, creative, imaginative solutions.
That's philanthropist Wallace Annenberg, who died today at the age of 86. As president and CEO of the Annenberg Foundation, Wallace oversaw about $1.5 billion in grants to organizations in arts, science, and healthcare. Her foundation also gave to local institutions, including Eisenhower Medical Center, the McCallum Theater, the Palm Springs Art Museum, and the Annenberg Estate, which is now known as Sunnyland Center and Gardens. Her latest effort, the Wallace Annenberg Wildlife Crossing, is the largest of its kind. It's meant to help wildlife cross over the 101 in Agora Hills, and it's expected to be finished in 2026, carrying on her legacy.
On this Monday night, we're giving you a live look from our Agua Caliente casino camera high above downtown Palm Springs right there. Chloe Carlson has tonight off, but we got Kai Beach who's tracking her forecast, and it looks like not the heaviest wind gusts are out there, but there's still some wind that we're dealing with.
A little bit of wind, and over the last few days, temperatures were really nice, about 5 to 10 degrees below average.
Love
Hope
that.
you enjoyed it, because it's going to go right back up. All right, let's take a look at those current weather conditions. Palm Springs International Airport, 107 degrees. Those wind gusts Mark was talking about, 13 miles an hour. For temps right now, Yucca Valley, low 90s here on the valley floor. Indio, 104, Thousand Palms, 103 degrees. Those wind gusts, Whitewater, we're looking at 14 miles an hour. Our friends up in Yucca, we're looking at 16 miles an hour. Tonight's evening stroll, it's going to be nice eventually. 6 o'clock, 103 degrees. By 10 o'clock, we're in the low 90s. And if you're still up after our 11 o'clock newscast, we're going to be in the mid 80s. Low temps for tonight. Big Bear City, that always makes me happy. 45 degrees. That's less than 2 hours away. Here on the valley floor, Palm Desert, 77. Indio, 78. For tomorrow, temperatures do start to rise. Palm Springs over 110 degrees. You need some relief, you can go to the coast. You can stop at my mom and dad's house. Go jump in the water. We're looking at mid 70s, waves about waist high. Go out there, enjoy it, be safe. Tuesday, hot and dry. The reason why, ridge of high pressure that's building over the southwest. That's going to drive temperatures up. We do have some showers to the east of us. Will that monsoonal moisture impact us here on the valley floor? Most likely not, but never say never. Comfort Air 3-day forecast. Tuesday, 111 degrees. Wednesday, 112. Temperatures start to drop slightly. And those overnight lows, high 70s, low 80s. I'll have a full forecast in just a bit.
New at 6 o'clock tonight, a new push on Capitol Hill could bring hope to millions of undocumented immigrants who are living in the United States.
U.S. Senator Alex Padilla is introducing a bill that could pave the way to legal permanent residency. Our Antonio Marquez has details.
That's right. Senator Padilla wants to try to help thousands of people who are just looking for an opportunity to obtain residency so they can live without uncertainty about their future. A new pathway to obtain legal permanent residency in the United States could be a reality for undocumented immigrants. That is, if Senator Alex Padilla's new proposal is approved. His bill would update the 1929 Immigration Act, which would grant the Secretary of Homeland Security the discretionary power to register undocumented individuals for legal permanent residency if they have been in the country for at least 7 years prior to the date it takes effect, have no criminal record, and pay their taxes. For Roberto, a student at College of the Desert, this proposal could be life-changing.
And I hope it does come to fruition because I would love to be able to be a part of, being here since I was 2 years old. I want to contribute to my community. I want to contribute to this country, and I want to be able to help as much as I can.
The proposal would help grant permanent residency to more than 8 million people, including holders of temporary protection status, essential workers, and dreamers like Roberto.
So I would really love for them to kind of see where we stand and why we're here, why we did it, why we actually came here, not because we want to take over or we want to take anything from them, but because we want to help and we want to live that American dream that they also have.
According to estimates by the Foundation for the Economic Development of the United States, if the proposal was passed, the millions of people granted permanent residency would contribute approximately $121 million annually to the U.S. economy and about $35 million in taxes.
People with power should come together and kind of see what the positives are that we can bring to them. I know that they see that already with DACA and TPS, a lot of tax money does go back to them, and they see it. And now imagine if we were able to all contribute. I know that's something that they would really want in this country.
Although Padilla has obtained the support from several Democrat senators, California Republican National Committee member Sean Steele has expressed his opposition to the bill, stating that he doubts it will receive enough support. Back in 2021, Senator Padilla also proposed the Essential Workers Citizenship Act, which would give workers the opportunity to apply for residency, but did not gather enough support. Antonio Marquez, NBC Palm Springs.
All right, thanks to Antonio for that report. Coming up next year, new risks linked to phone use in children. We have more on the safety features that can help keep them safe right after the break.
Also tonight, an officer, 2 civilians injured in a shooting that took place tonight in Midtown Manhattan. We have more on the story and the details to follow.
And your gold and silver prices on this Monday evening. Stay with us. Those headlines right after the break.
They say dogs are a man's best friend, but at NBC Palm Springs, we're a dog's best choice for news. Apologies to our competitors, but even your dogs know who leads the pack in news.
Night after night, discover the unique stories that set our valley apart. Together, we're going to find inspiration and foster connections that strengthen the fabric of our community.
Babies are experts at paying attention to only what is genuinely fascinating, and we couldn't agree more. NBC Palm Springs News. Even Astro. Committed to covering our community. You're watching NBC Palm Springs at 6.
Back to school shopping is in full swing, and parents may be wondering whether they should be getting their child a smartphone this year.
There's a new study out tonight shedding some light on possible risks associated with phones for younger kids. Jen Sullivan tonight with the story.
It's a question many parents ask. When should I get my child a smartphone?
The most important thing that parents can do is delay the age at which their child gets immersed in internet culture.
Jonathan Haidt is the author of The Anxious Generation, a book about how smartphones and social media are creating a rise in mental illness among children. And many studies support that theory. A recent study from the Journal of Human Development and Capabilities found smartphone use before age 13 was linked to a decline in mental health and well-being. The data was self-reported, and it's unknown what type of cell phones they were using. Haidt says kids between the ages of 10 to 14 are particularly vulnerable.
We must protect kids' brains in that age. That's when the maximum damage is done, especially for girls.
There is good news for parents, though. Many companies are advancing their technologies with parental controls and kid-friendly features. If you're getting your child an iPhone, Apple says it's important to create an account for them and put in their age.
That's an important step because what that does is that it then creates privacy protections that will go throughout their experience.
Julia DeOlios with Apple says parents can also manage how much time their child is on their phone with Apple's screen time. The Find My app allows you to track your child's location and give you alerts like when they leave school.
We also have features like communication safety, which can detect nudity in photos and videos that children either receive or attempt to send, and then it provides warnings and helpful resources.
Google Family Link offers parental features for both iPhones and Androids to monitor your kids. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Now to some news across the country this evening. You're taking a look at New York City earlier tonight, where an officer and 2 other victims were shot with a high-power rifle. This happened in Midtown Manhattan just a few hours ago. One civilian who was shot is listed in critical condition. And according to a law enforcement official, another civilian and that NYPD officer who was shot in the back are both expected to survive. The suspect, who was seen walking into the building, is believed to be dead. Police officers are still investigating.
We have a live look outside for you. Our Indian Wells Golf Resort camera. Kai Beach has your 7-day forecast in just a few minutes. Stay with us.
They say dogs are a man's best friend, but at NBC Palm Springs, we're a dog's best choice for news. Apologies to our competitors, but even your dogs know who leads the pack in news.
Night after night, discover the unique stories that set our valley apart. Together, we're going to find inspiration and foster connections that strengthen the fabric of our community.
Welcome back, everyone. Happy Monday evening. We're taking a live look from the Walter Clark Highway 111 cam in the beautiful city of Rancho Mirage. Nice blue skies out there. Hope you're enjoying it. As for today, the low temperatures here on the valley floor: Palm Springs 76, Joshua Tree 67. As for Cabazon, we're looking at 70 degrees. For tomorrow's morning walk forecast, it's going to be nice, but it's going to warm up much higher than it's been over the last few days. 6 o'clock, we're just under 80 degrees. By 10 o'clock, under triple digits, and at noon, 102 degrees. For Tuesday, the high temps here on the valley floor, everything over 110 degrees. The hottest Palm Desert at 112 degrees. For Wednesday, it's going to remain hot. It's going to remain dry. We have a ridge of high pressure that's strengthening over the southwest. That's going to increase temperatures over the next few days. But at least it's a dry heat. Take a look at that dew point and relative humidity, just 5%. The future wind potential, hey, it's pretty consistent. It's going to be windy. Whitewater and Desert Hot Springs gusts up to nearly 30 miles an hour. Holiday countdown, 35 days away from Labor Day, 95 days away from Halloween. Comfort Air 7-day forecast. Let's take a look. Tuesday, 111 degrees. Temperatures got a small little drop. And then by the weekend, we're up to nearly 115 degrees on Sunday. And those overnight lows go from high 70s to low 80s.
NBC Palm Springs Sports Desk. Brought to you by Agua Caliente Casinos. We have your game.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Caitlin Kelly. Tim O'Brien has the night off. Now, it feels like just yesterday that we were following the Rancho Mirage High School varsity softball team on their epic playoff run. The team, you may remember, made it all the way to the state championship game, a first in school history. But while the season is now finished, the recognition and accolades the program is receiving, particularly for head coach Abraham Aparicio and team captain Annalisa Garcia, yeah, those accolades are still rolling in. This is one of 7 home runs hit by Annalisa Garcia this past season, setting a school record for the most hit in a single season. But what makes it all that much more impressive? She broke that record all while serving as the team's pitcher. And after leading the Rattlers to their first ever state championship game, Annalisa has now been awarded the title of CIF Player of the Year.
I was super surprised. It hasn't fully clicked to me yet. Everybody around me is so shocked, and for me, I feel like I haven't really processed all of it yet.
But Annalisa isn't the only Rattler being honored. Her head coach, Abraham Aparicio, has additionally been named CIF Coach of the Year.
I just happened to get notified by my athletic director and one of my coaches that Annalisa and I had been selected as Player of the Year and Coach of the Year for Division 7. Annalisa's grown up a lot, from the moment she stepped onto this field, coming in from Desert Hot Springs, as a player, as a person. So I'm super proud of her. It's a culmination of a lot of work, a lot of growth in our parts as player and coach, But as a program too, being able to lead our program and stepping into that role as a leader and as a competitor, I'm super proud of her.
And as proud as Coach Abraham is of Annalisa, Annalisa is proud of her coach.
I think it's very deserving. Like, obviously we were faced with a lot of like challenges and obstacles like coming into this season. So I think seeing that he was able to push through it and be recognized for it, I think that's so amazing, and I'm so happy for him.
And as if being named Player of the Year and Coach of the Year wasn't sweet enough, this coming Monday, both Coach and Annalisa will be honored at Angels Stadium, down on the field in front of a packed house before the Angels take on the Tampa Bay Rays. Additionally, Annalisa will be given a ceremonial bat before she gets to sit back with her coach and teammates and enjoy some of America's pastime. How cool is that? That'll do it for sports. I'm Caitlin Kelly.
And now the Agua Caliente Entertainment Report, brought to you by Agua Caliente Casinos.
The death of heavy metal legend Ozzy Osbourne isn't keeping him off the music charts. David Daniel has that and more in tonight's Hollywood Minute.
Ozzy Osbourne fans are keeping his legacy alive. Osbourne died July 22nd at age 76. Now his 2003 compilation album, The Essential Ozzy Osbourne, has risen from number 134 on the Billboard 200 all the way to number 7. It's his 10th top 10 album and the first time that record has cracked the top 10. Its previous peak was number 81.
Really good. Yeah, almost as good as a man.
A Bend It Like Beckham sequel is in the works. Deadline reports writer-director Gurinder Chadha says she's been toying with the idea for a couple of years as the popularity of women's football has soared worldwide, and she's excited to revisit the original characters and build on the film's legacy.
I tried to show him that wealth wouldn't solve all his problems.
And?
It seems to have solved most of his problems.
Keanu Reeves is an angel whose object lesson goes awry in Good Fortune. Writer-director Aziz Ansari is a struggling gig worker who switches places with a venture capitalist played by Seth Rogen. Good Fortune arrives in theaters October 17th. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Leave me alone, Jeff. I like it. It's all I have.
Brighter Side of the News is brought to you by Fiesta Kia. Discover the all-new Fiesta Kia located in the I-10 Auto Mall.
All right, finally tonight, get your sauces ready. Gather a lot of napkins because tomorrow is National Chicken Wing Day. Mayor Stan Mikowski of Buffalo, New York started the observance back in 1977. It was in honor of his city's namesake dish. Celebrating it this year should be easy. Number of chains offering deals and promotions for National Chicken Wing Day. Kai, I bet you could throw down a lot.
At least 12 dozen. And I mean
12
dozen. Yeah.
dozen.
12 dozen.
144.
Oh,
yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
I thought you were just going to say 12.
No, 12 dozen. 144.
Okay, let's.
Yeah, lemon pepper only though.
I know what I'm having for dinner tonight.
Yeah. All right, Kai. Tomorrow, put your money where your mouth is. But Mark's buying.
Yeah, right. There we go. All right, that's going to do it for us tonight. We're back here for the news at 11. Please join us for that. Meantime, we're going to send things over to Fred Rogan tonight. He's got the latest with the Rogan Report. Hey, Fred.
Hey, Mark. The Rogan Report is presented by The Living Desert.
Hey, you, yeah, you. You, look up from your phone screen. You pay attention to that all day long, don't you? Scrolling is great, but how far do you take it? You may be surprised to find out how much of your life you're spending on the internet. Hi there, welcome to the start of a new week. Have you heard? COVID cases are on the rise again in California. Health officials are sounding the alarm as they monitor the uptick in infections, especially with summer gatherings in full swing. Many are concerned about how this will impact travel plans and local events. It's a reminder that the pandemic's not over yet, and you've got to stay vigilant. People are definitely talking about what this means for the rest of the summer. Contributors on this Monday, there they are. Stephanie Green, Tammy Bleck. Stephanie, how do you feel about the possibility of new restrictions as cases rise?
I would be totally opposed to that. And also, if you read the article, it's a very slight uptick, even far less than last year. And this panic mode that everybody's in because of a cold has to stop. And I think that we need to stop using these fear headlines and live our lives. And I don't think it's going to be that bad. And I certainly am not going to go through any restrictions this time.
What do you think, Tammy?
I agree and disagree with Stephanie. I think that we should be prepared, and I think that we should be cooperative. I think it's going to be very different because when COVID first hit, we were ruled by fear. Every time we turned on the TV, we were watching somebody being turned over in a hospital bed and people saying goodbye on cell phones. I mean, we were mortified. We're a little better prepared now. We know, and by the way, I don't think it's the last epidemic we're going to have, maybe in my lifetime, but not in everyone's lifetime. So we have a lot of supplies for the next epidemic, whatever the flavor of the year is, and it doesn't hurt to be vigilant about it.
That being said, do you think people should take protection? Do you think they should take steps to protect themselves, Tammy?
Well, I don't think we need to, be crazy about it and be paranoid about it. But the answer is yes. I think that, I mean, if anyone has symptoms, I was at a doctor's office this morning and the guy next to me was coughing up a lung. I got up and moved. If I had a mask, I might have put it on. But that's the kind of precautions, if whatever you can do to stay out of the fray. Do I want you to lock yourself in your house? I don't think so.
Stephanie, you think this is based on fear, don't you?
Well, if you read the headline and then read the article, it absolutely was a fear-based headline that basically said, oh my God, everybody's dying again. And you get down to it and it's very minor. It's a small uptick. And it's just something to get people riled up about.
All right.
Well, she's right about that. I mean, but that's media. Media sells airtime, unlike this media, but other stations do sell fear. I mean, it gets you to tune in and say, oh my God, what can we do?
All right. Would lowering the speed limit for big rigs make any kind of positive change? Friday, we talked about what both sides thought. Let's be clear. This is a tough call. No one wants a 40-ton truck barreling toward them at 80 miles an hour. But opponents of the mandate have a point. You can't slap a one-size-fits-all policy across 50 states with drastically different speed limits, road conditions, and freight needs. California, for example, already has a strict 55-mile-per-hour cap for big rigs, even on roads where everybody else is doing 70. Bottom line, smart regulation is about balance. Trucking safety shouldn't come at the expense of common sense or economic reality. But ignoring the risks of high-speed collisions involving massive vehicles is equally reckless. So if we're not going to govern truck speeds, let's at least govern the conversation with facts, data, and a willingness to meet in the middle before the next crash reminds us what's really at stake. So that got a lot of people thinking, and our Facebook page lit up. People are saying the problem isn't just speed, it's who's behind the wheel. Some argue modern cars and trucks can handle higher speeds safely like the Autobahn. But others are like, nope, semis barreling down the freeway at 80 miles an hour are terrifying, especially when they take up 3 lanes or the driver's half asleep. Then there are folks who say, forget the speed, just build separate lanes for trucks or at least make them stick to the right. It's basically a battle between safety, convenience, and what people think freedom on the road means. Anyway you look at it, it's something that must be talked about before the next big rig accident takes more lives. How long do you spend looking at your phone or the internet in a day? Latest poll about how much time Americans are spending online, pretty shocking. Nearly half their day is connected to the internet. Whether for school or just scrolling through social media, you're there. The trend highlights growing reliance on digital platforms for everything from communication to entertainment. Makes you wonder how it affects our daily lives and relationships. Tammy, how do you think spending so much time online impacts our mental health?
I don't think it's good. I think that a lot of depression and anxiety comes from the internet. I mean, the internet is a blessing and a curse, right? It's given us a lot of access and connectivity. It also isolates us. I don't think that we've ever been more of a lonely nation than we are now. So I think it's disheartening, to be honest. And I use it for business. And I would say I'm on it about 25% of my day. But I make it a point to not be on it. What about you, Stephanie?
You know, I've had this conversation with friends and my husband just recently that we're on it too much. You know, we're on the phone when we're watching TV. We're not doing the one thing. And also I've noticed when you go into waiting rooms, it used to be you talked to people or you read a magazine, and now everybody's on their phone, playing games or doing whatever. And I agree. I think it's out of control. I know it's out of control for me. But conversely, as you said, it's a blessing and a curse. And the blessing is everything I do. I can do banking. I can pay people. I can, check my emails when I'm not sitting at my computer at my office. So, sometimes I feel like I'm forced to be on most of the day, but other times I know that I'm abusing it.
You know, you said we could be talking to other people. We could be doing other things. We're watching TV. We're checking our phone. We're on our tablet. And in my house, I got yelled at all the time for not being present. And I think that's the key, not being present, because we multitask and we live in an information age. And if you don't see something, the problem is you missed out. Oh my God, how did I miss this? Well, you're going to see it 10 minutes later. But I think we're now conditioned to always be in a situation where we know what's happening immediately. Is there a way to build better balance here, Stephanie, between who we are and what we expect?
Well, it's self-discipline, and it's things that we're trying to do around our house is to put them out of reach, put them up on the counter when we're doing something else. We don't take them into restaurants anymore. I mean, what do we need to look up when we're in a restaurant? So we're personally trying to work on it. It's very hard. And then you get around friends who aren't working on it, and you revert back to your old habits. So I don't know. I don't have the answer.
All right, now look up from the screen, everybody. It's the best way to be a good neighbor. Palm Springs Monica has about 20 ice packs. She's looking for a local sports team where she can donate them. Cheryl in Thousand Palms needs some first-hand recommendations for a plumber, needs a water heater replaced, looking for the right person for the job. Leslie in Rancho Mirage needs to hire somebody with a truck that has a trailer to help move a 20-foot boat about a mile. And Janet in Palm Desert wants to let everybody know that Wagon Oasis Grooming and Self-Wash is hosting an adoption event Sunday, August 3rd from 9 a.m. to noon.
We're in the desert. Give us your hot take. Find Fred on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Fred Rogan.
You can also email thedesertdean@gmail.com. Don't desert us in the desert.
So is a background check unconstitutional? So the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals just ruled that California's requirement for background checks on ammunition buyers violates the Second Amendment. This decision effectively overturns the ammunition law passed in 2019, tightening gun laws in the state. A judge argued that the law restricts the right to keep and operate firearms by making it harder to buy ammo. A spokesperson for the Department of Justice called the ruling deeply disappointing, said it overturns a law that prevents ammunition from falling into the wrong hands and helps keep families and neighborhoods safe. The department is evaluating its legal options. The ruling continues a trend of limiting state-level gun control measures. Tammy, how do we balance the right to bear arms with the need for public safety?
Well, I do find it deeply disappointing. You know, guns are the leading cause of death for children and young adults, and I think anything that we can do as a nation to help curb that, however minor it is, we should do it. Unfortunately, that isn't the case here, but there's a lot of illegal guns out there. So buying ammunition, falls into those hands. What do you think, Stephanie?
You know, I'm a little split on this because you have to go through quite a background check to even buy a gun. And I think the district court had a point that you have to put the ammo in the gun, so you can't restrict one part of that. There's more restrictions on guns in this state than most states in the country, and certainly most countries around the world. So California's trying, and it's usually the bad guys with unregistered guns that are doing a lot of the bad stuff. So they've circumvented the system. And, you know, the normal law-abiding people, we get our licenses, and, you know, we go to training and we register all of our guns and we show our ID to buy ammo. So I don't know the balance either. I think it's a sticky wicket, but you know, you can't legally sell guns and refuse to sell ammunition. And I think the good people are doing it the right way.
All right, Stephanie.
Well, you reached a point, because a lot of bad people out there do have illegal guns, and now they can get ammo with no problem.
Does this ruling have any impact in gun violence in California, Stephanie?
I don't really think it's going to, because it's such a bigger problem than a law, because again, you have to police it, you have to implement it, you have to enforce it, and the bad people are circumventing these laws no matter what. They're getting the ammo. Drive to Arizona. You know, it's ammo's available, so I don't know the answer. I really don't.
Okay, how do corporations step up for people in a time of tragedy? If you're Motel 6 in Palm Springs, not very well. When a tragic fire struck the Ramon Mobile Home Park, local residents of the Red Cross tried to help out by finding the displaced people who lost everything, even their driver's licenses, a place to stay, and it didn't go well.
Do you really think that Motel 6 knows everyone that is staying at Motel 6? People have friends over, they have hookups, all kinds of things. So to say that they absolutely know the identity of every customer, it's ridiculous. These people need help, and they need to make an exception.
And I think that the manager should be advocating for this. I don't know the manager, and maybe that person is, but there's got to be something that you can do. It is not okay to just let people be on the street because they don't have an ID that's burnt in their house.
Pretty clear where contributors Jim and Stephanie stood, and I think most would agree. A Good Samaritan sent us this interaction with a motel. They work at a local hospital and asked to remain anonymous. They contacted the Red Cross, who contacted Motel 6, who would not budge on the policy even after being told of the circumstances. Told the policy is all guests must have ID, but explained theirs were lost in the fire. They still wouldn't budge. I called Motel 6 corporate, explained everything. Still told must have ID. As for a supervisor, told the same thing. Our Facebook family absolutely reacted to this.
Good job. Please stop it. Perfect.
People calling it heartless, especially since other places like Travelodge have taken in families without question in the past. Some folks defending it as just company policy. Still others are furious, saying Motel 6 should have made an exception in a literal crisis. Now there's talk of boycotting them altogether. It is the policy, and we understand, but shouldn't somewhere, somehow, there be a process for emergencies? I wonder if Motel 6s in Los Angeles turned away fire victims there, or if they found a way to help in a time of crisis.
Good job. Please stop it. Perfect.
When a new management style turns into retaliation and harassment, you've got to sue.
Riddle me this. What has an eye but cannot see?
So Friday, we told you the Desert Sun reported 5 Cathedral City firefighters have sued the city for retaliation and harassment. They claim the new chief insulted, intimidated, and belittled employees. They claim that the fire chief would administer unwarranted discipline and assign unreasonable work if employees spoke out against his behavior. Megan Beeman-Jacinto is the lawyer for the employees, and she joins us now. Megan, thanks for joining the show.
Thank you for having me.
All right, what do we have going on with Cathedral City here?
Well, we represent 5 former and current employees of the fire department of Cathedral City. They have initiated legal action against the city, their employer or their former employer, based on the very abusive and retaliatory actions of the fire chief.
Okay, so the fire chief was named recently. He comes in and he wants to reorganize the department for the sake of the conversation. He needs people to do it his way. He's now in charge. And what you're saying is his approach, his technique has ruffled some feathers?
Well, I think ruffled feathers would be putting it very lightly. Certainly a manager is entitled to implement, their style or their order or reorganize as the employer may see fit. But in this case, what we're seeing is unlawful retaliation and abuse toward the employees, where the employees have stood up for their rights on many occasions by voicing concern about unlawful and retaliatory conduct and abusive conduct. And each time they have, the conduct escalated, which is what makes it unlawful.
Okay. And what has been unlawful?
Well, there has been quite a bit of retaliatory conduct in the form of assigning belittling tasks and performance improvement plans, which are really baseless and formulated just for the purpose of punishing employees who have stood up for their rights. We also have an employee who was terminated for standing up for his rights. And I think I should mention this all follows a series of complaints that were presented to the city council back in June of 2024 by, I think, 13 employees. So there's really a lot going on there. And our clients are the 5 that have elected to move forward with legal action.
All right. Can I play devil's advocate for a second?
Sure.
All right. New guy comes in. He's going to change things. He's got to reorganize, and he's upset some people who don't want to jump on board, don't want to do it his way, reluctant to change, refuse to change, and now they're complaining about it. There's the other side of it.
That may be the version of facts that the chief presents in defense of himself, and that is a scenario that happens with new supervisors on many occasions. But what I mentioned earlier is the basis of these legal actions. We don't just bring them for bullying or for disagreements with new styles. We bring them for unlawful retaliatory conduct, which is conduct that has followed an exercise of rights and which constitutes a negative action against the employees in further violation of their rights. So it's not just about a change in style or a new boss, so to speak. It's about unlawful retaliatory conduct, which violates the law.
Got a comment from Cat City on Friday. Said, we're looking into it. We're going to look into this, and there are some things we may or may not have to do. No matter what they do or don't do, does that change the way you're pursuing this case?
Sure, and it comes down to what our clients want to do in response to any action the city may take. What I can say, and what I've said in other outlets, is that these are very senior employees for the most part. They've really valued their employment and their careers with the city of Cathedral City, and their ultimate goal is to change the work environment so the 4 that are still the 2 that are still working can continue doing that. So we are hopeful with that type of response from the city. We hope to see changes made soon, and if changes are made, we can discuss those with our clients to determine what they want to do from there.
All right, outstanding. Megan, thanks for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Great, thank you.
And your daily dose of cuteness when we return.
They say dogs are a man's best friend, but at NBC Palm Springs, we're a dog's best choice for news. Apologies to our competitors, but even your dogs know who leads the pack in news.
Night after night, discover the unique stories that set our valley apart. Together, we're going to find inspiration and foster connections that strengthen the fabric of our community.
Babies are experts at paying attention to only what is genuinely fascinating, and we couldn't agree more. Report was presented by the Living Desert Zoo and Gardens. They say dogs are a man's best friend, but at NBC Palm Springs, we're a dog's best choice for news. Apologies to our competitors, but even your dogs know who leads the pack in news.
Night after night, discover the unique stories that set our valley apart. Together, we're going to find inspiration and foster connections that strengthen the fabric of our community.
Babies are experts at paying attention to only what is genuinely fascinating, and we couldn't agree more.
You might not like everything we do.
Hey, we might not like everything you do.
We can still be friends.
Find Fred on Facebook and Instagram at Fred Rogan or email thedesertdean@gmail.com.
What has an eye but cannot see? A potato. All right, we just showed that video from the Living Desert. Max, can we take a look at that again? The baby bobcats playing in a tree. Let me tell you, they invited myself and producer Kevin out to go and play with the bobcats one day in the morning. They said, you better hurry before they get too big, and we had to cancel. We couldn't go that day.
And after seeing that video, I don't think we're going to the living desert, producer Kevin, and playing with the bobcats. I think we missed our opportunity. Viewer wrote us asking how we can get higher-end grocery shopping stores here, such as Central Market and Hy-Vee. Don't get me wrong, I love our Gelson's and Bristol Farms, but come on, with all the high-end residents and soon to be more with Disney housing, I believe we're sleeping at the wheel here. I love both Gelson's and Bristol Farms. Jensen's is great. Ralph and Albertsons are terrific. They all work for me. Maybe a Central Market or Hy-Vee would be great, and I would support that, despite the fact I've never heard of them and have no idea what they are. Not all pets are cute and furry like the bobcat. Some have scales, some slither, and some are slow-moving mowing machines from our See It, Send It, Shoot It department. That's Doug, not to be confused with our contributor, Doug Baker, even though they both do have marvelously shiny, sexy bald heads. Doug is a mowing machine. You put him on the grass, and the cut is closer than any hand-driven or electric mower could ever be. Doug is a South African tortoise, and while we don't know why Doug came to this country, we're pretty happy he landed here. Thanks to producer Gianna for bringing Doug the mowing tortoise to our attention. So next time that lawn needs to be mowed, consider ditching the John Deere and hiring Doug. He may be slow, but he's meticulous, and Doug is awfully cute. You know, if you want to see more of Doug, just go to NBCPalmSprings.com because we put the whole show up there immediately after we go off the air. We work 24/7. Content from tonight, content from our past shows as well. Big day tomorrow for the Riverside County Board of Supervisors, and we're on it. Wheel of Fortune is next.